Hi, and welcome back, I guess. So today we're joined by Rina Nir from RadBee. And of course, I've already done my introduction on a previous talk. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. So nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm the CEO of RadBee. We are an Atlassian solution partner. So that means that we are establishing projects and building tailored solutions around the Jira and Confluence. And we are also playing or working on the Atlassian Marketplace apps. So we have several apps which you can download to extend Jira and Confluence.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
in
yeah.
the
And
big
I think
ecosystem.
I think
Go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt you, and I think we'll have the opportunity to even show a little bit. I think we have some screenshots lined up of your product, and then maybe we can dive a bit deeper there. I would propose. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, of course. Let's do that.
All right. So, just kind of bringing back the topic and the circle we had on the previous slide. And yeah, you'll be talking a lot about that, I believe, but it's mostly, or should I say, it's not just limited to PDF creation, what you do with iText products, right? Just kind of as a sneak peek before we dive further into RadBee.
Yes. So is it a question? I was not sure.
Yes, I think the quality isn't very good. I was just asking if you just create PDFs with iText, or do you do something else? Because we had on the title a mention of maybe some other add-ons that you use as part of your solution.
Ah, so what we do in our app, which is Speedy PDF for Jira, creating a PDF is one part of the big solution.
Of
The
course.
solution is actually for people who want to sign off Jira tickets. So Jira is a ticketing system, and some of the people who are using it need to officially sign these tickets. And well, one option would be to export those and then take them through DocuSign and other ways of signing, sometimes even printing and scanning and so on. But our solution provides a more elegant approach where you basically can generate a signed PDF directly from Jira. And
That's
that's
great.
where we actually use your tool.
And do you use it, let's say, for accountability purposes? Why do you
So
choose to? Yeah.
the the main context that people use to choose that to do that is for compliance purposes. So if you are doing it within Jira, a process that is sensitive from regulatory point of view, either from a financial regulatory point of view or from a medical or pharmaceutical point of view. So a lot of the customers do research and development that really are later on also submitted to FDA and things like that. They need these records to be signed officially for compliance purposes.
So would you say that the main users of our products, are they in the medical industry or financial industry? Is there a specific vertical that you target with the RadBee?
So RadBee specializes in pharmaceutical and life sciences. So when we started the implementation, we started with this approach. But as soon as you put a product on the Atlassian Marketplace, because Jira is used really widely across industries,
Yeah.
we have seen a big uptake in automotive, for example, financial and healthcare, which is meaning we come from healthcare, but the solution eventually can work for all the verticals that are sensitive in this way.
Yeah, very well. And you were saying that Jira is used in a lot of industries. We use Jira as well at iText. Uh, So maybe we could also do with a bit of RadBee.
Yes, why not? You know, they say software eats the world, and Atlassian has very wisely positioned themselves as a solution for software developers, and that's why they find installations all across the industries.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So I believe we have a video here.
Yes, that's our explainer video. So it actually shows the product in action. It shows PDF in action. If you want to start playing it, then I can take you along. It takes only 1 minute.
Well, I'm a visual person, so I think maybe a lot of our viewers are as well, so they'll for sure be appreciative of that.
Does it start to play? Because I don't see it playing on my side.
It should be coming up.
Once everyone is signed, you'll have a beautiful PDF which is authentic, binding, and compliant with FDA CFR Part 11. And don't you worry
So
about storing the signed record.
while it starts, I will just explain that what happens there is right directly from Jira. So a user does not need to leave Jira. They can trigger the whole cycle of signature right from the Jira user interface. And what our application basically does, it packages all the information within the Jira ticket, organizes it into a very beautiful PDF, allows you to assign people who want or who need to sign this PDF, and then routes that PDF for the different people to signature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well.
And
I've been told that our viewers were able to indeed watch the video. Unfortunately,
okay.
me at the studio, just to make it sound fancy, I'm unable to see it, and I guess you've already seen it multiple times before. So
Okay.
we kind of had it on the title of the presentation, but if you can humor me, what products do you use from iText? Because I believe it's not just one. You can almost do a bingo, fill out a bingo card with the
Yes.
products that you use.
So we use, of course, the core. Then we use the pdfHTML. And that was actually one of the reasons that we used the iText, is the fact that we could create an HTML on our side and then turn it into PDF just by calling to your product.
Okay.
HTML, because it's so ubiquitous, was really a good way for us to format the file on our side. And then the other one that we used is pdfRender, and that allows us actually to create a preview of the PDF. So when people sign, if they don't want to look very deep, they just want to see the preview of what they are signing on, they have a PDF preview interface, and that's pretty easy for them.
No, okay, very well. So if I understand the process correctly, you create an HTML, let's say out of what Jira outputs, and then
Yes.
you use pdfHTML to create a PDF. You use Core to digitally sign that PDF, and then render so that your users are able to preview those same PDFs without, needing to require a PDF viewer or having to download the whole PDF, etc.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
And then these viewers, if they so choose, they can sign it as well. Yes.
No.
Now
Very
there
good.
is one small technical complexity there that maybe is worth highlighting, is the fact that Jira issues very often have attachments. So these attachments are also embedded within your within the PDF that we generate, and that was an additional capability of the iText engine. The
Very
fact
well.
that we could create PDFs with embedded files within them. So you really capture everything from Jira inside the ticket, inside the PDF.
There's one thing, and I feel like I'm doing a bit pre-sales here, or maybe a bit of support. But there's also a kind of another thing where I guess the most commonly used in the industry is PDF portfolios, which is kind of a different way where you can attach documents to your PDFs, and you can actually render those documents within a PDF viewer. So let's say you attach a Word document to your PDF file using this PDF portfolio technology. Then you can actually see a renderization of your Word file within Acrobat Reader, for instance. So maybe something
cool.
to look into. Yeah, I'll
Yes.
hit us up. We'll share some examples. We actually have a pretty good blog post on our website with some examples on how to do it. Where I think it's so our technical writer created it. So hats off to you, Ian. And it's like it's a budget, if memory serves me right. So the PDF file represents a budget, and then we have, I think, like an Excel and the diagram as attachments. But you can already preview them without leaving the PDF ecosystem, as it were. So as we're looking at this slide, all of the add-ons that we have for core, you have 3 out of 9. So we still have some work to do with RadBee. Still
Sure
6 to go. So yeah,
the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit. So I think this slide is very appropriate. We have these paper planes, right? Which
Yes.
I guess it brings me back a little bit. So it kind of it already kind of shows the process that it went through your document. So can you kind of identify like on which cloud, what happens on which of them? Would you be able to share that with us?
Yes. So first, the whole our application is a pure cloud application. We don't host it. One of the advantages of using iText, because you have a licensing model that supports that. So we are running totally on Google Cloud, Firebase for most part of it, and basically we are integrating with Jira through connections. So we are not, our application does not run on the Jira infrastructure itself. It's totally external to the Jira infrastructure, and we connect to Jira through a technology that is called Jira Connect. And basically, as soon as a PDF is triggered, our API or our application takes all the data from Jira, moves it into our back office, and generate from that the HTML as well as the attachment files that need to be embedded in this PDF, and then sends it to a back engine of ours that sits on a Google Cloud App Engine, and this app engine generates the PDF. It then returns back to us, and our front end basically puts the PDF where it should put it on the infrastructure of the customer.
Yeah, so why do you think it is beneficial to use iText? I already put the question up on the screen, and the reason is simple. I think you've already alluded to some of those reasons why you did it. I think the one that you first mentioned was the capacity to create PDFs from HTML. Was that, let's say, the first need that you needed to have solved before, let's say, digital signatures or rendering?
Yes. So yes, absolutely. Because we initially when we started the application, our idea was to use a format that is called XSLFO, which is a very specific PDF domain type of format, and we discovered that it's pretty difficult to learn this format. So taking a developer that has never worked on this format was a steep learning curve. While actually, if you remove the requirement to go through XSLFO, but rather through HTML, that was much more familiar ground to our team, and that was a big advantage. The other reason is that we were looking for this feature of the capacity to embed files. And we also have on our roadmap the ambition to create a PDF that is pdfA. So it's a very specific type of PDF that is ready for archive.
Yeah.
And you had it. So in terms of the feature set that you had and the roadmap that we have seen for our product, you had the most mature feature set. And we knew that if we counted on this product, on iText, we would not be limited in the future with whatever we want to do with our product.
Indeed, and I'll let you in a little secret. Is this, I think people don't often realize that pdfHTML doesn't just do HTML. You can also do XML, XSLT, and other, let's say, familiar formats for our developers. So I'm really happy that you saw the value in all of those things. One quick note I would say, you mentioned, for instance, render on Google Cloud and stuff. So I don't know if you were able to see by my talk with Raf, our CTO, but for instance, we've containerized render, so you can call it directly within Google Cloud if you want to as well, to kind of make things easier for you and your customers.
Wow, that would be interesting. We'll have a look at it.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, so now we're actually sharing with our audience some screenshots of RadBee. I think we have 3 or 4 of them. Do you want to quickly talk a little bit about what's happening on the screen, maybe?
Yes, I will try, although I don't have a great view, but I think that what you are seeing at the moment is the interface where you can basically assign people to sign. So when you create the PDF, when you trigger the creation of the PDF, you can give it attributes like the name of the PDF and the persons who need to sign. And again, you notify them in the same way as you would notify anything that is happening in Jira. The screenshot that you see here now is how this looks like when the PDF is totally signed. So we have put this green watermark on it just to indicate that it's totally signed, and you can download the PDF then. Now the PDF is stored in an isolated drive that the customer has set up, so the customer can use to Google Drive or other ways of storing their PDFs, which is not actually on Jira. And the nice thing about it is that even if they delete the Jira instance or they delete the issue from Jira, they still have the archive of the signed PDF.
Okay, very well. And I guess finally, do you have any more plans to add some more functionality? Maybe the PDF portfolio next, who knows? But is there anything off the top of your head as we wrap our conversation up?
So I think that the next thing that we will do is pdfA, and as support of pdfA. And then we have other features that are outside of iText. So different things like a more flexible design of the PDF, but that is in the pre-processing stage. It doesn't directly relate to iText. Okay,
very well. Thank you, Rina. And I invite everyone to join our Ask Me Anything. In case you have questions about RadBee, please join, or about iText. I think RadBee is a super interesting product. Everyone uses Jira, as was rightly mentioned by Rina. So thank you again, and please join us.